afternoon, Natural Grandma viewers. We're here today at Jacob's Reward Farms with my new friend Cindy.
Hi.
And we've had a wonderful morning exploring her farm and learning about her. And first thing I'd like you to tell me is, what does that mean, Jacob's Reward Farm?
Well, I was mostly interested in Jacob sheep when I first decided I wanted to raise sheep and homestead and get out of the suburbs. And I really fell in love with the Jacob breed. Jacob sheep are mentioned. This is traditional. We don't know if it's actually true, but they're named after the sheep in Genesis chapter 30, where Jacob breeds black and spotted sheep when his father-in-law is trying to bilk him out of his bride.
Yes.
So, but the nice thing about Jacob sheep is, first of all, one sheep has two colors of wool on it, which is really handy. And they're very good for the Texas heat. We're just north of the Dallas area, so it gets really hot. This year has been really hot. So I needed a wool breed that was going to be able to do in the heat. And so I needed a farm name, and I wanted it to have something to do with Jacobs. And so this was early Google times, so I Googled a lot of variations. Jacob's ladder, no, that's somebody's using that, Jacob this and that. And it dawned on me that Jacob worked really, really hard for his wealth and for the life that he wanted, and the sheep were a big part of that. And so I called it Jacob's Reward. Jacob's Reward Farm.
Very good. And you got now these are wool sheep.
Yes.
And you got into this why?
Because, well, honestly, I wasn't sure if I could butcher meat sheep. I really wanted sheep. Sheep was the bottom line. Sheep remind me of my faith, and there's peaceful, sweet. I didn't know anything about them. I've never spent a lot of time up close to them, but I just knew I needed to raise sheep. I've learned a lot since then, and then I got interested in the fiber. I thought, well, if we're going to raise wool sheep, because that's the alternative to meat sheep, if we're going to raise wool sheep, I need to know what people do with the wool. So I took spinning lessons. I learned how to spin the wool, make some yarn. Then my dear mother-in-law taught me to knit and crochet, so then I actually knew what to do with the yarn. And so that was just the beginning of what turned into an amazing community when my family and I moved out of the suburbs, found this piece of property, and started our farm. One of the first things I learned was that this piece of property, it's only 4.5 acres, and we can't even use all of it, but that's a lot to me. I'd come from a suburban lot. And to use it, I was going to have to share it. It was going to have to be a farm for more than just us. And so we built a community of knitters and spinners up around. They helped me with taking care of the sheep. The shearing days every year were a really big event.
Wow.
We invited school kids, and really educational. This is something that most people have never seen in person.
That's really cool.
It's a lot of fun.
And so you were telling me you started with one sheep, but
Yes.
then that morphed.
Yes, it did. It's like we kid about chicken math. There's sheep math too, and especially with a herd animal, one sheep is not happy. I brought my one sheep home, and he was super sad. He cried and made a mess of things. I was bashing around in the pasture. I was afraid he was going to hurt himself. So I got back on the phone to my friends and I said, I need another sheep. So they gave me another really sweet wether, and the flock began. But like potato chips, next thing I knew I had half a dozen. And then the next thing I had several alpacas as well. It's a what do you call it, slippery slope.
Yep.
It's a slippery slope.
Yeah, that happens when farming.
Yes.
One animal leads to another.
And they're beautiful. Alpacas were so much fun. I did that for 8 or 9 years and just loved it. But I was still just trying to do too much by myself.
Yes.
It's not really my husband's interest. My daughter had other interests. I had some friends, and I did get help from time to time. I didn't tell you the story about when I broke my ankle and was really non-weight bearing for 3 months.
Oh no.
I
And
literally,
what did you do?
Well, thank the Lord, I had a community at that point, and they came around me and they learned how to. I thought nobody could do it as well as me, but you don't know this little sheep's preferences, and I want to make sure you do everything just right. They all lived. They did just fine.
Good friends.
It was. And it was a great lesson for me that it doesn't have to be all me.
Very good.
And that if I don't rest appropriately, my life will evolve into a place where I have to rest.
Yes.
So I found myself flat on my back, basically.
Right. And so then what happened? What happened is you got too overwhelmed and
well, you know, I'm enjoying it. I was enjoying it, and we added a big laying flock. Somebody gave me a couple of ducks. We went from 2 ducks to 26 ducks because they hatched eggs, which was really cool. It just got to be overwhelming. And finally, after a lot of years, and I don't think I was managing it nearly as well as I could have. I was losing money, and you know, that was a concern with my husband. And it's like, you may be having fun, but we didn't get into this to lose money,
right?
You know. So I finally just downsized one thing after another. I sold all my alpacas, and then my last livestock guardian dog got sick and died very suddenly. I didn't expect it. And because we have so much coyote pressure around here, and I had lost sheep to coyotes before, wasn't going through that again. That was very traumatic. I immediately rehomed my sheep with a gal that I really trusted.
Okay.
And then the pasture was pretty empty. And I did rest again for a while. I sold all my chickens. It was just my pet dogs and cats, and I started getting into fish. I had several aquariums for a while, but you know, it's just not the same.
No.
It is not the same. So pretty
It's hard
soon,
to pet a fish.
yes, and it's, you know, it doesn't get you outside. It
Right.
doesn't get you vitamin D out of the sun. It doesn't get your hands in the dirt. So I started getting the itch again. And a friend wanted to rent my pasture for his 3 sheep and half a dozen chickens. He had to leave town for a family emergency for a while, and so I offered to take care of him for him. That was a long story, but it just kind of got me going again. I thought, I really need to do this again. But I want to do it smart, and I want to do it in a way that I can sustain. So I actually started with a raised bed garden, container garden. And I thought, I know container gardens take a lot of work. There's all that weeding and stuff like that. So the first thing I did was pave the front quarter of my yard with landscape fabric, just to cut down the weeds. And I thought, I can plant, I can water a little bit. But then wasn't a coincidence at all. I'm sure this was part of the bigger plan. I had coffee with a friend of mine who's a chef, and we were talking. She's like, I can't grow anything to save my life. I have a black thumb. And I said, well, I can't cook. I'm a terrible chef. She's like, we really ought to team up. I'm like, well, that kind of makes sense. And we kept having conversation, and then the first thing you know, we were talking about having a CSA vegetable garden.
Now explain CSA.
Okay, CSA stands for Community Supported Agriculture. And that is one of, you know, it varies a little bit, but generally people pay a farmer up front to grow a season's worth of food. And then as fruit and vegetables come out of the field or out of the containers, those investors get boxes of food. So they get all the benefits of farming without having to do it. Because not everybody has the kind of space that I have.
Right.
And it's just easy. But I also have a real heart for teaching too. Even when I had my farm going full tilt, we had school kids out, and I was always shocked at the stuff that even the teachers didn't know. And I thought, we need to educate people about where their food comes from.
Yes.
And how that they could even grow it. You know, so that's really big on my heart as well. So right now we've had a batch of meat chickens that some ups, some downs, but generally a positive experience, and we're ready to do it again.
Very good.
So excited.
Very
so
good.
excited. And we're getting a larger group of people. We've got 4 or 5 people right now. It's kind of small. Looking to add to that.
And they all come one day a week?
We're always here Saturday. That's the day I have off. And when folks are not working and they can come on a Saturday. Right now it's starting pretty early in the morning because of the heat. we'll work for 4 or 5 hours and knock off for the day. And we're very slowly just moving the plan forward. But what I've really enjoyed is you and Hank visiting this weekend and giving me an even bigger vision for what this little piece of property could be and how we can bring the soil back, bring the pastures back, grow a lot of food.
Yes.
And that's really delightful, invigorating, makes it worth it. And build community.
Yes, I was going to say,
Yes.
this time,
Yes.
the difference is you're building community along with your food sources.
Right. And this time I know I can't do it alone.
Yeah.
And hopefully, with a lot of people bearing the load, many hands make light work, we won't have the burnout that I had the first time.
Right. And another benefit I think that comes from having that is your idea bank expands.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, we've got some people in our group here that really don't have that much experience, and so sometimes the things that they suggest, it's easy for me to say, well, I can see why you would think that, but having done it, let me tell you what really happens. And on the other hand, sometimes they'll say something really out of the box, and I'll go, huh, maybe I better think about that. That's not half bad. So yeah, there's a lot of give and take. And resource-wise, I can't bankroll this whole place myself either.
Right.
And it's really nice to have a community that's pitching in.
Yes.
Subscription price and labor. And when I get tired, those people are up and they're excited.
Mm-hmm.
And when they get tired, I'm up and excited. And, we can all keep each other motivated.
And so you're located in Parker, Texas.
Parker, Texas,
which is
home
where
of
we are today.
South Fork Ranch.
Very good. And I saw out today when we arrived, they were just finishing building a brooder.
Yes.
That is a commercial style brooder.
It's big.
And you only wanted 50 chicks.
Yeah, we're getting 50 chicks, and I had built something a little more conventional, a big box basically on legs with a screen top, and it's actually got a screen bottom. We put some cardboard in there and some bedding just when it was really cold to raise up those babies. But when they get bigger, I thought we would have we'd need a little overflow space. Well, oh my goodness, this brooder that we bought is gigantic.
Yes.
So, then you think, well, maybe we need to be raising chicks for other people as well.
So if you're near Parker, Texas,
Yeah, keep an eye out.
Keep an eye out. Get involved in Jacob's Rewards. Find them on
Facebook.
and she'll probably have some chicks
Yeah.
ready pretty soon.
And we had
not too long.
Some beautiful meat birds. We're expecting our second batch of meat birds. The chicks arrived the 31st of August or so. So we'll be looking 6 or 8 weeks out. We'll be looking for another batch.
Very good. And you're toying with the idea of turkeys.
Yes, I've always thought turkeys would be cool.
Yes.
I've actually thought peacocks would be good, but they're not very good eating from what I understand.
No, but they are mosquito catchers.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my husband's not keen on the
Mosquitoes.
noise. I think they
Yes.
make a really fun noise. I know. Anyway, turkeys would be good. Turkeys you can eat, you can market, and I just think they're majestic. They're just cool to look at. A lot of what we do is not just about making a product we can sell. It's just about enjoying working with the animals,
Right.
working with the plants, and so I'm kind of excited to try to work with turkeys.
Very
Never
good.
had it before.
Very good.
And quail. I would like to do quail again.
Okay.
Quail are fun.
Very good. Well, thank you, Cindy, for spending some time with us today.
Oh, my pleasure,
And
Laura.
I really enjoyed the time that we spent here, and I want to watch you and follow you and see how things go.
I'm gonna keep you guys on speed dial. Just know that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So if you're anywhere near Parker or Plano, Texas, make sure that you look them up. Come by. I'm sure she wouldn't mind
Sure.
stopping by the farm, got quite the raised garden venture happening, and with new animals coming very frequently here.
That's
So
right. That's right.
thank you for watching today, and as we like to say on Natural Grandma, we hope you're having this good a day. It's been so nice.
Amen.
Yeah.